Carissa, can anyone learn those design capabilities?
Absolutely. I think design is incredibly accessible to beginners, and that's part of the beauty of it. We often teach beginners by having them follow a process. Like when you learn a recipe and you learn to cook, in the beginning you follow that recipe pretty closely. As you get better, you might swap out some ingredients. And when you get really good, you can say, okay, I have blueberries, and I have chocolate, and I have spinach, and I've always wanted to learn how to flambe, so I'm going to mix those together and create something new, right? And it's then that you can call yourself a chef.
Got it.
So expertise takes time, but beginners can jump right in.
How would you describe the ratio between teamwork in the design process and individual work?
Yeah, there's definitely a balance. We focus a lot on making students work with teams of people that are very different from them, disciplinarily, socially, racially, gender. Like, we really have them flex that difference because we think that amplifies what they can create. But it's also important to know who you are and where your abilities are, and take some time to reflect on that. So there is definitely a back and forth.
Can you elaborate a bit on the group dynamics in the design thinking process within the teams?
Yeah, it varies by the teams, right? Sometimes you get a great team where the team is really aware of who brings what abilities with them, and they can talk about each activity that they do and reflect on it and say, oh, that worked for me or that didn't. They can give each other critical feedback, and there's often a lot of growing pains with that. It doesn't come super simply. And then there's some teams that struggle with it, and as instructors, we have to help and intervene. A lot of students find that, or we see a correlation between when it's really hard and emotionally, and they feel like, oh, this doesn't feel so good. When they reflect later, those really tough times were actually moments of a lot of learning.
How important are for those future leaders the topics around environmental change and sustainability?
I mean, we're not going to be here if we don't have a planet, right? I think we have a critical responsibility, and being at a place like Stanford, and all of you here that are leaders in your organizations, you have these platforms, these positions of power. How can we help our planet? I think that's mission critical.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Carissa Carter.
Thank you, everybody.